Hey guys, it's Stephanie from Soul Work in Six Figures here, and I wanted to get on here and talk about a topic that came up with a client that I'm working with. So excuse me as I just fixed my hair. So this client has been on the job market for about 2 months, and he's really nervous. He feels like he's not going to get the job. He's not going to get a job, and he's just really, really scared. So I wanted to just talk about the life cycle of interviewing, and typically it takes about 3 months to find a perfect fit. If you are someone who hasn't been interviewing all along and just isn't in the swing of things. So let's just break that down. So let's say you get laid off or you get let go and you find yourself surprisingly on the job market. Typically what happens is that your referrals will reach out, people, acquaintances, friends that feel bad for you, and you will be inundated with all of these, free job opportunities. People saying, hey, I know this and that person at this company. I forwarded your resume. And it's great, but it's kind of sad because it's like you don't have any practice interviewing and you have all of these amazing sort of really key positions that, you could easily get off the job market if you had gotten them a little bit later when you had experience interviewing. But in any case, that's typically phase one, right? So you get the referrals and you take the interview, you brush off your resume, you do a little bit of practice because maybe you think you could just talk about your experience. You don't really need to do, it's easy for you to speak to people. You don't really think you need to do too much. So that happens, and say you don't get any of those positions. So you had 3 referrals and all of them passed on you. Maybe you got to the on-site interview and they just decided to go in a different direction. And it sucks because it's like, your friend recommended you, so you thought you were shoo-in. So after that, and probably during that process, you're hustling really hard, you're applying to tons of positions, and you don't get the ones that were referrals, and then you get low-hanging fruit. So what's low-hanging fruit? So typically what happens, and don't let this make you feel bad, but candidates that are really high value or are in demand aren't typically applying to positions. They're working. So typically companies are going through applications, but that could be in the thousands, or maybe they'll receive 300 in like 4 days for one role. So they're not really looking at the applicants with a fine-tooth comb. They're mostly, and when I say people, I'm talking about the recruiters at the company, are looking at their referrals and are trying to poach candidates from other companies. So you're in this stack of resumes, you're not being seen, and it is what it is for the larger companies, right? The brand name companies. And so then what low-hanging fruit is the companies that kind of have to get what they can get. So maybe they don't have the brand name of XYZ startup or whatever, and so they have to actually go through the applications. And so maybe one night you are on LinkedIn and you found easy apply and you applied to a position, and it wasn't really that great. It was at this low-hanging fruit company, but that company only got maybe 20 applications, so they saw you and they reached out to you. So you have this interview, it's a low-hanging fruit interview, and you take it, and even them, they didn't accept you. And so now you're really freaking out. Now maybe you've been on the market for about 4 weeks. It's coming on, the 1 month mark, and you are just applying everywhere. You're applying everywhere. You're like taking contract jobs when you weren't considering contract before. You're taking jobs out of state. You're taking jobs at a lower rate. You're just applying. And, now you're having recruiters, maybe just agency style recruiters are finding you, and, you're having those interviews. And so the agency recruiters could be still dream job style jobs, opportunities, or they could be, a mixed bag of just, low-hanging fruit and dream jobs. So those are the 3 stages. Hopefully I made that clear. So the first stage is, the jobs you should get, which are just referrals and contacts and friends of friends in your network. The second is the positions you apply to, which includes the big names, the dream job that you actually want. And then the third is just the low-hanging fruit, when you're just applying everywhere. And so what happens is that cycle will repeat itself. So So now you're at maybe the 1 month mark, and other acquaintances are seeing that you're struggling a little bit, and they reach out to you with their referrals, and so you have those interviews happening, and then you have continually the ones that you're applying to, the recruiter. So those 3 stages will repeat itself. And so I just want to let you know that this is what happens. Unless you're someone who's a professional who has at least like 5 to 6 years of experience, or you're just smart and you know that you should always be interviewing, you should always be updating your resume, and practicing those skills, you don't have them. So a lot of time you'll get on the job market and you're interviewing, you're ill prepared, and they'll just pass and hire someone who's just a little bit more prepared than you. So it's not that you're a bad fit, it's not that you're not qualified, it's not that you don't know how to speak to your experiences or you're a bad person, which is what everyone tends to go to and think. It's just because you didn't have a career coach in your corner helping you out in the beginning, and or you weren't always interviewing. So those are just some things to think about. Those are the cycles of just being hired. I think if you're in this 2 month mark, and if you haven't hired a personal recruiter or a career strategist or someone to help you out in terms of really tailoring your resume for you, doing mock interviews with you, going back and forth so you're not wasting opportunities having these practice interviews, and also doing mock salary negotiations with you, that's the time to really hire someone to do it. And if you're really smart, once you get that message that we're laying you off, or we're relocating the role, or we're getting rid of this position, you should hire that person then, their career strategist. So this is Stephanie from Soul Work in 6 Figures, and I'm signing off. I just wanted to get on here really quickly and talk to you about the 3 stages of interviewing. Don't lose hope. It is not your fault. You just were not practiced, and you didn't hire a professional to be in your corner. Cheers.